recorded.
So there you go.
I love that.
First of all, thank you guys so much for coming on today. We really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to us at SAO that you're coming on these meetings, and I feel like I feel privileged, frankly, to know that we are making a difference in the stroke community and helping people to the best that we can. We don't take that lightly. We're very serious about it, and just appreciate each and every one of you guys, and hope you can continue to keep coming to these meetings. I got a couple of things I wanted to start out by saying. When we get into some conversations, and today I am going to call on a couple of you because I'm interested in hearing your stories, and it's always good for us to hear other stories because it gives us inspiration, it gives us hope. We can help some of you that may be having some struggles. A lot of us have been through a lot, and so we can help as well. And it's very, very critically important that we deal with that kind of stuff. And so today's kind of that day. We are going to start out with Steve Van Houten talking to us a little bit about, and I'm kind of managing this too. So just so you know, if I look to the side, I'm letting people in to the meeting. But we're gonna have Steve talk about some things. Last meeting we had Becca Schweitzer, and she talked about dizziness and all of that, and it went really well, I thought, as well. And so anyway, enough of that said. But again, one last time, if you have questions or anything, please raise your hand and or get my attention somehow that way. And that way we can call on you, because when we get quite a few people together, we can overtalk each other, and I don't like to do that if at all possible. Before we get started, I wanted to let you all know a little bit more about SAO and what's going on. So Stroke Awareness Oregon, everybody probably is aware of that, of course, because you probably got these messages from Stroke Awareness Oregon's email blast. But it's been around for quite a few years, and we're making huge progress. And so I wanted to just call out a couple of things. We wanted to say thank you to Hayden Homes for their amazing, generous 5-figure May match. Now, what I want to say on this, and this will go out to everybody in our database, I know how difficult it can be as a stroke survivor. I know how tough it is. But we feel privileged and that it's important to get the message out and to help others who need help. And so one of the things that I am going to ask everybody here is, if you can, reach out, and even if it's $5, $10, $20, whatever, and make a donation to SAO. And so if you go to Stroke Awareness Oregon, and there's a donate page on there. And in that donate page, you can click on that, and then it'll bring you down and it'll say some things. And I would love it if you guys would say that it came from the meetings that we're having, these stroke survivor meetings. It just helps us understand what we're doing and helping get the message out. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. Appreciate all of you guys. We're going to keep doing this. It isn't anything about that, but we do need to fund our event and keep going. So I guess that's it. Very helpful. We're doing a bunch of stuff in May, of course, and there's a concert going on tonight and a bunch of stuff like that. And you guys will hear more about it. And if anybody lives in the Bend area, you should get out there and see that. But anyway, so today we have one of our own folks here, Steve Van Houten. We've known Steve for quite a few years. Steve has helped us do a lot of stuff at SAO. And oh gosh, Steve, did I not put? I might have to look up your stuff here. I feel stupid. So let me just say a little bit about Steve, and then he's going to talk about our peer-to-peer support that we're kicking off from SAO, which is a very critical thing as well to help others. So Steve was an MS vocational rehab counselor. He's retired now. He was the owner of a medical vocational planning company. Let's see, I'll just read this. Early return to work program, Peace Health Hospital in Eugene. Van Houten Associates Vocational Rehabilitation in Poulsbo, Washington. Vocational Rehabilitation Counselor in the state of Oregon and in Bend. And so he has a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge about this. And so we've got Steve to head up our peer support groups. And so, Steve, I'm going to kick it off to you, buddy.
Okay, thank you very much. So Keith told me I only have 30 seconds to talk. So I'm going to have to talk really fast. Isn't that right, Keith? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, I think it was. I might have given you 45. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, I'm setting my own timer so that I don't go over. So for those of you who don't know what vocational rehabilitation is, it's where you work with somebody who has some kind of a disability that keeps them from working. And it could be a physical disability, could be like a emotional disability, a mental health disability, an intellectual disability. It could be like visual or hearing or just any number of things. And so that's what my master's degree was in doing that. And that's what I've done for about 45, 50 years.
Wow.
Until I retired about 5 years ago. And a year later, woke up with my whole left side numb. And my wife, who's a retired nurse, when I told her that, she jumped out of bed, ran around to the other side, and ran me through the FAST program. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, there was a little, just a little wobble, but you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. And so ran me through FAST, which is an acronym for determining whether somebody's had a stroke, and then told me I'd had a stroke and she was calling an ambulance. And so, so it was called a wake-up stroke. So they couldn't give me the drug that would remove the clot because they didn't know when the stroke happened. It was sometime during the night. And so I was in St. Charles Hospital for about 2 weeks and actually started recovering quite well, had excellent physical therapy and occupational therapy. Ended up getting out, making really good progress. My physical therapist asked me what I wanted to do. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, you've had a stroke, so what really matters to you? And so I said something that many of you will think is stupid. What I said was, I want to play tennis again. And my wife said, well, tennis, what about like our life and stuff? And I said, well, honey, if I can play tennis, I can probably do other things. And so, so anyway, that's what she started working on and helping me to do. And so here I am now. It'll be 4 years in October. I still am numb on my whole left side. I'm about 65%, 50 to 65% numb, but I started out at 95% numb. You know, I had a speech slur, I had a vision cut, and those things have gone away, so I have improved. And after 4 years, I am continuing to improve, except that I just knocked over my pad. So anyway, and so one of the things that my physical therapist told me about was Stroke Awareness Oregon. And so when I checked it out, I got invited to one of their group meetings, and I zoomed in because of COVID to the meeting. And felt like it was really beneficial. I felt like, the things that really matter when you're trying to recover from a disability have to do with your own motivations. In other words, what you really want to do and what your plan is. And then you have to have somebody kind of help you get through it. And what I found with the groups, and you guys probably know this yourself, is that you get all kinds of hope and inspiration and camaraderie and good information. And of course, Keith does a fantastic job of doing this and helping bring out people's stories and helping you feel motivated. The thing that I felt could be improved upon from my history was one-on-one time, because a lot of times there are issues, although, every stroke is different, but a lot of us have very similar issues with stroke at the same time. And so the similar things can be talked about more in a group, but individual issues are harder to do that with. Like, it might be financial, it might be mental health, it might be, your own feelings about what's going on that you might not want to say. It could be relationship issues, all kinds of stuff. And so since I had done this most of my career in working one-on-one with people, I thought that actually Keith is the one who asked me how we could improve things. And that's when I started thinking about this, that if we could add to the groups a service where a person with a stroke can help somebody else with a stroke and do that in a reasonable, rational way without causing harm and with being helpful, that would really be a good addition to people who belong to Stroke Awareness Oregon. And so I started working on it and found actually it was Lene that found a place in Northern California that was doing something like this. And I ended up making contacts and getting their training manual. And right now, I have the training manual. I've edited it for Stroke Awareness Oregon. And I have like 6 of us who are interested in working with people one-on-one. And it could be Zoom, it could be in-person meetings, depending on the circumstances. But the goal would be to help find out what your motivation is, what you really want or what you really need. And it could be something gigantic and big, or it could be something small that is important to you to accomplish. And the peer supporter would then be confidentially helping you to accomplish that and check in with you. Now, peer supporters don't have all the answers, but they can help you to investigate and determine what kinds of services or resources that you might need to improve. I don't know about you guys, but when I had my stroke, I'd always been healthy and strong and felt like, everything was just great. And then all of a sudden I had my own disability and things changed a lot.
Yeah.
And so it makes a difference to have somebody to talk to. Now, I know Keith already does this. He already talks to people one-on-one, and so does Lene, and so do a few others of us who've had strokes. But it just seems to me that if we have a program that's more designed to doing this one-on-one with people, that it would be very beneficial. And it would be only if you want it, or you can quit anytime. Mm-hmm. And it's free, because what we're talking about are volunteer peers who have had some training, who would be supervised. I would do the supervision to begin with because of my background, but then my goal would be to turn it over to somebody else to do it, to help you figure out how you can improve to accomplish your own goals. Not our goals, not your mama's goals for you, nothing like that. It's what you want for you. And so that's what the idea is. I feel like we're right on the edge of kicking this off. The role that you could play in this, I see two possibilities. One is if you want a service like this, to let us know and we'll find a way to get you linked up with somebody. The second goal is for those of you who feel like you'd like to be a peer supporter, that you'd like to support somebody else, we have training for that. We could help you do that. You do not have to have professional credentials to do this kind of thing. You have to have you have to be willing to listen, like Keith says. You have to have a kind of a tender heart, and you have to have some understanding of what it means to have a stroke. It's a brain attack, which means that it can be all kinds of things to different people. And that's the idea, that's the concept. And if you're interested in that, let Keith know, let somebody else, ASAO know, because we're right on the verge of kicking this off. Now, I've condensed all of this down quite a bit, more than 30 seconds worth, but I would like to entertain any questions that anybody has.
So I'm going to kick it off. Okay. Couple of quick things. And you know, I just want to reiterate the importance of this and how much it helps other people. And it's so hard to find someone who is willing to listen and not judge. And we're all stroke survivors, and we get it. Okay, there's something, you know, that we're missing, and things have changed, and other people can have great love for us and respect, but they still don't understand really what's going on in the brain. And so that's why, I'm sorry, I got to admit a couple more people. That's why I'm so excited about this, because A, you know, it's going to be done for free. B, we understand what's going on and we can help you through it. And the other thing I want to say, and then we'll open it up to everybody, and I'm just following up here, is that our goals can change after having a stroke, right? Because now we're not we're not in the workforce, or something changed. We changed. We may not walk the same. We may not talk the same. Gosh, my wife would laugh, because all of you may say, oh, I know Keith, but she's going to say, no, you know, it's not the same Keith. So my point is that we have to sometimes be willing to find something new to do, and find that peace within ourselves to do that. I look around the table here and I see Kim O'Kelly. She is fantastic at that. She's just been a queen of that. And Bev, you've been through it, honey, and you still keep fighting. Lane, you're just you never quit. And there's so many of us in this room that are like that. Jim Patterson, and all of you, really, all of you. And so I just wanted to say that. And I'm sorry I'm talking a lot. I guess I do talk quite a bit. Anybody have?
Oh, why would you say that?
It's my job, man. It's my job. No.
So does anybody else have questions?
Oh, I have a comment. So I don't know if the rest of you were like me, but when I had my stroke and it was laying in the hospital bed, I really didn't ever know anyone that had ever had a stroke, which was hard to believe because I was 65 years old. Or if I knew them, they had not lived. So the other thing that is, all I wanted to do was just talk to somebody who could tell me, this is going to be okay. It's hard work, but you will come out the other side. You may not be exactly like you are today, but I wanted that encouraging word. And we get it from the therapists, we get it from the physicians, but it's really different when we get it from somebody who has walked that path. I mean, as I look at, you know, the pictures, there's a whole lot of you on here who could be great peer-to-peer supporters.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I
Great
just think
point.
this is such an important role. It wouldn't be a lot of work, but it's just that sort of comforting word from somebody who's in your club. We're a tribe now. We're a club, basically.
Absolutely. So, any other comments on this before we keep moving forward? Bev.
Yeah, I wanted to say that my first stroke was May 11th, 1999. So I've survived beyond what anybody had thought. And then my second one was in January of 2000. Then I had 28 TIAs. I have a rare brain disease. And when somebody came on that had the same brain disease that I have, and we connected outside the group, and now we're friends on Facebook, and I continue to mentor her and she continues to pray for me and mentor me. So it's important, just that one connection that we have.
Awesome.
Wanted
Awesome.
to say that it is important.
Oh, that was a great point, Bev. Thank you so much for saying that. There's got to be other comments. Anybody else?
Well,
Steve?
well, let me just say, if you have memory issues, there are programs that we know of that can help you. If you are interested in getting back to driving, there are certain steps that you can take to do that you can be helped with. If you want to go back to work, there is a whole agency I used to work for that can help you do that and has a budget to help you do that. If you have serious issues and problems with a loved one or with mental health kinds of issues, there are resources out there. You don't have to fight these things alone. That's the point. So I'm done.
Thanks, Steve. And don't, look, we do need to watch how much we say and watch our time, but I really appreciate what you're saying and what you're doing here. It's helping a lot of people. And so don't apologize for what you're doing, buddy. You're doing a great job. Anybody else want to make a comment? Lane?
The only thing I would ask is sometimes it's just so fun to have that other stroke warrior to talk with, or to cry with, or to share your disappointment with.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is so valuable to, the service that we could all offer, because we've walked this path.
I totally 100% agree. And as I'm out there doing it and stuff, like you said, Lane, I mean, if you can get deep with people and really help them understand, and the emotions come out, and they need to come out, and that's why, you guys, we have men's group meetings, and it's just for guys, and it's no offense to the ladies, but sometimes we have things built up that we want to get off our chest, and we don't want to burden our family with that. And those are the types of things that Steve's talking about. This is a great program that SAO is kicking off. And I'm telling you, it's going to make a huge impact. It may take some time, but it's going to have a huge impact out there. And we want to impact you guys. We want to help everybody. And so any other comments on that? Because I am going to have a couple of people talk today. Kim O'Kelly.
Yeah, I want to just add to what Lane was saying. Reaching out to somebody, even when you're in therapy and you're at your PT or your OT, and you just say, hi, what are you here for? And just opening up, if you're going to a restaurant and you say, oh, Lane and I go to restaurants and we just tell the waitress, we let everybody know, and it's such a wonderful thing just to be open, because, there's a lot of shame. Let me just say, there can be shame after stroke and guilt. We all know there's lots of fear, You know, what we experience is the human condition. We have this thing happen to us that comes out of nowhere, and we are faced with humanity and the human condition. And this is something that we can share with each other. And it's a beautiful thing to open up and share your life with another person.
Yeah.
And get it out, let go of some things that you might, be afraid to say to somebody that you're close with, or share whatever that burden might be.
That's perfect, Kim. I think about one thing as you're saying that is a lot of times, because our egos and all that gets in the way of what, like you just said, and we don't let go. Well, a lot of times we're not allowing the newness to come in, to find our new path, whatever that might be.
Right.
And so, yeah, and it takes, and in Steve's point here, it takes coaches a lot of times to help us get through that. And I'm so excited about what we're offering here. It's not a small thing. I'm telling you guys, it is a huge thing. And Steve, appreciate all the work and energy and everything you put into it. And I'm excited to see us kicking this off in a big way. So, yeah. Any other comments on that subject?
I didn't know if Gunnar had something. The only thing I wanted to ask is, look at our world. Athletes have coaches. Business people have coaches. We're really in a coaching community. And so I think this is brilliant for Steve, because stroke warriors can really benefit with coaching each other and having somebody that's walked that path.
Oh, great point too, because as coaches come together, and Steve, will you make a note, because we should have our coaches come together once in a while and relay back and forth some of the things that they're up against and what they're hearing out there, because that'll make that was a great point, Lonnie. It make huge impact on how we help other people. Yeah.
Now I'm going to put Gunnar on the, I'm going to point at Gunnar. Gunnar, you'd be a great coach.
There's Gunnar.
Yeah. Can you see me okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm here. I'm out in the middle of one of my 8 days a week of work that I do, because my wife and I own an art gallery that's retail, so it doesn't matter. I'm here sitting near the harbor in Hawaii, in paradise. But every day is a challenge. Yesterday I had a horrible day. I had what I call a dizzy day, but I celebrate those days because I actually have less cognizance and dizziness and ringing in my ears and everything else. And I know that it's a day when my body actually goes through a reset. It's like a disconnect, or like a reboot. And today is wonderful. I feel fantastic. And that's what happens, is I have a bad day, but I celebrate those bad days, because a better day, better than the day before, is coming after that. And this has happened hundreds of times over the last 7 years I've been out here.
Gunnar, is there something specific that you do? You notice that you're having a bad day and you celebrate that. I get that. But I mean, are you napping? What do you do? How do you deal with it in a specific manner here? Take 30 seconds.
It's just a matter of powering through it. There's no extra rest, and actually it typically happens after I get good rest, because my brain is kind of doing a reset. If I have a long night's sleep, like 7 hours straight without getting up, and I might have a bad day after that. And it's all because the brain is like rewiring. This whole neuroplasticity and stuff is going to work or something, and it's rewiring, it's doing this whole thing, and it has to unboot everything that's in there before it can reboot and reconnect in a better way afterwards. And
Great.
so, I mean, that's what I've found my own thing. I have such a small amount of brain left that functions. It's just preposterous. The doctors are scratching their heads.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have 1% of my white matter left. I seem to be growing back the gray matter. increased it from 3% to 11%. And my hippocampus in the back is around 28%. So I've got a small amount of functioning brain left, and yet my cognizance keeps improving as well. So it's been tested. So it's just remarkable. I just saw my doctor this morning on a follow-up because I'm refilling some meds and stuff. And he said, it's just amazing how much better you're getting. He just went through and he snapped his Achilles tendon 3 months ago. And now he's finally off of a little rollator that he's walking around in. He's walking around with a boot, so he's still healing, and he's a couple of years older than I am. I'll be 70 next year. I think he's 72. But
couple of quick things. I'm going to stop you, but two things. One is you, my friend, you have the right attitude. And
that's what he said.
That
attitude, that's what the doctor said.
Buddy, your attitude makes a huge difference, and you're growing, you're getting better, all the numbers. You're a sharp individual, buddy, and you're doing the right things. And I'm glad I didn't know you before your stroke, because I would have been a peanut. You're a smart guy. I think you're doing
growing, and my gray hair is growing.
Hey, Keith, I think you just want to ride in that fancy pink Porsche.
I do.
Gunnar, the next time you come on, why don't you bring a picture of your car? It's pretty amazing.
Late September, I'll be up in your neighborhood. I'll come see you guys.
Yay.
I'm going to hold you to that, buddy.
I swear to God, because in September, I go to an event with my wife up in Northern California. From there, I was going to go up and drive up to see the grandkids and leave the car up in Oregon for the winter before I take it back across country for the 4th time next year.
Well, so and we'll talk later, Gunnar, because you might need somebody that drive the car once in a while just to keep it, keep it going.
Exactly. Right. If you got a place to store it, I'd love it. No, that's great. Serious. I'm dead serious.
Well, I'm not going to let you off the hook. You're going to give me a ride in that thing.
For sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, enough.
Pictures.
We're taking up time here, but listen, I want to move into something right now. I want to first, before I forget, and before she bails off of here, we are gonna call out Lanae and let her know that we appreciate her and tell her happy birthday.
Happy birthday! How old is Lanae now?
I'm 74, and happy I'm here, and happy to tell anybody how old I am. And anyway, it's so fun to just see everybody. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but when I go on this, and I know I said this last time, but remember, I'm a strokey. It's just so fun to have a community that understands me and that I understand you. Yeah. It's just the highlight of my week. But thank you for your birthday wishes.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lanae.
Happy birthday.
How old is Laha now?
What's that? Oh, you're saying
how old is Laha now?
Okay.
Oh.
How old is Laha now?
So what does that say? Happy birthday in Hawaiian?
Happy birthday in Hawaiian. Exactly.
Ah, cool.
Awesome.
Let's hear from some of the new people, Keith.
Well, that's exactly where I'm headed here. So I want to call out a couple of you guys. Please don't take offense and don't get aggravated by me, but this is really good stuff. And so Carmen and how do you pronounce your first name again?
Oh, your first name.
Jürgen.
Yeah.
Jürgen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jürgen.
So
oh, cool.
Take 3 to 5 minutes. Tell us your story a little bit. We'd love to hear about you guys.
So
Jürgen had a stroke on February 4th, and so he has aphasia.
Mhm.
So the interesting thing is that he's originally from Germany, so he's reverted back to his German language, which,
Interesting.
and I, yeah.
Interesting.
So that's put a twist into this whole thing because I don't speak German.
Jürgen, ich heiße Günther. Wie geht's?
Wie geht's? Ganz gut.
The gates are right, but the hinges are rusty. My father would say that.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm having to basically, be not just a translator for the few words that I know for other people. When I was the quiet one and he was the vivacious, you could hear him across the street when he talked. And so it's been very challenging.
Yeah. Well, we're with you guys. I want to make sure, Carmen,
And what
that
city do you
go.
live in?
Wait 1 second, Lonnie, I'm sorry. I want to make sure that Carmen hears this. You need to go to the caregivers group as well. It's a really good meeting, and Molly is doing a fabulous job on that. And it's very important that you hear from those people and you are a part of another group, because it's a tough deal. And we want all of us to say thank you to you and to all of our caregivers as well. It's critically important, and so thank you for that. But I'll make sure you get a note for the caregivers group. It's really important for you to go to that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Lonnie, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, I just wondered where they live.
So we're in Coos Bay.
Oh, you're in okay. Huh.
Yes, we're on the Oregon coast. So
It's kind of fun because we're all scattered everywhere.
yeah, I know. I see that. That's really interesting. When I read the title, I thought, well, it was just people from Oregon. I mean, that's kind of how it seemed. But anyway, that's it. Interesting.
Well, when Zoom, when everything happened and COVID hit and all that, we decided as a group to start doing these out on Zoom, and we've slowly built that up, and
nice.
And people have heard about us, and so now we're getting a pretty good group of folks, and we have a database of, seriously, it's over 1,000 that we send this to each time. So if for some reason you have to miss one, you'll be on the email that gets that.
Okay.
So then you can watch it later. And
yeah, that's good, because we drive over to Roseburg, which is a little bit under 2 hours from where we are, every Tuesday. So I notice it's on Tuesday. So we've kind of been missing this, and then the one in Eugene. And anyway, so it just kind of got a little complicated between OT and PT and ST. So yeah, I was like, oh my goodness.
yeah.
So anyway, we have been married for 36 years, and we've been in this community over 30 years now. We have a business here, so it's just been an interesting transition. But yeah, it's amazing how your focus your world just stops, and I can't even imagine. I've always told them, it's like, I can't even imagine what you're going through, and I'm just thinking about, everything just stopped. It was just so yeah.
We all care deeply about this subject. We care about you, even though we just met you guys, and it's important that you stay in touch with us. And so, my email's on there. You can email Stroke Awareness as well. It's important. We've got to stay in touch. When you have something that you need to talk to somebody, and just as Steve was talking about having this having the peer-to-peer group, it's critical. I'm sorry I can't talk German, but maybe we'll get Gunnar to come in on the men's group.
Ruf mal an, ja. Ich spreche nur Kinderdeutsch, wissen Sie. Aber wir haben immer zu Hause Deutsch gesprochen.
Give Gunnar an inch and he'll take a mile. So, I got to be careful, but anyway. I love you, Gunner. Uh,
Can also,
anyway, we care about you guys, and
Thank you.
yeah, and we're glad you're here. So thank you. I'm going to shift gears for a second. Andrew, I'd love to hear your story a little bit, buddy. Tell us a little bit about you, would you?
I'm deceased, but I had a stroke last year on my left side, so my right side is on the numb side. I have aphasia, and I don't speak I am not fluent at speaking other languages, so I can't say that's in me. But I had the stroke when I was doing dishes in July. It was a June or July, not January.
Yeah.
It was one of those days. And then my wife was there, and then she brought me to the hospital, and they gave me the drug for the blood clots, and then I had to get flown to a different hospital for the ICU, and I was there for about 7 days. My right side is like is numb in certain areas. I walk with a gimp, so I have to have a cane. I get fatigued really. I get fatigued from a lot of people. Oh gosh, it is like my brain battery just completely loses all energy, and it can happen from 5 minutes to 3 hours, and then when it hits, that is it. It's like I just need to just like go in the corner and just like go to sleep and hibernate. And when I tell people that I've had the stroke and have I have aphasia, no one knows what the hell it is that I am talking about.
Yeah.
And it gets very depressing. And so I tell people that, well, now just say I am on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And apparently people know anything about the spectrum with autism and all that stuff, but they don't know that much stuff about strokes or anything else like that. So I am working, I'm working on trying to be better, and I'm trying to keep the same mindset that Keith and Gunnar have. But it's hard when I'm run down.
Yeah, buddy. Well, so A, thank you so much for sharing. B, it's critically important for you to know, Andrew, that you are going to get better. You've got to A, believe it.
No, I do.
Yeah. And B, you've got to work at it. You got to work at it, buddy. And yeah. And I want to ask you a really serious question right now. Why were you doing dishes?
Because nobody would do them.
I'm so teasing.
Yeah.
Your wife's gonna kill me when she hears me, but
no,
I'm just joking.
No, it's funny when I tell people that. Well, what's fun? I met my wife at a funeral.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, my whole life is like a big giant Ferris go round.
Well, listen, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have cracked a joke like that.
No, it's okay because it's funny.
We can relate, bud. We've been there, and I just want to encourage you to know that with your hard work and your belief that you're going to get better and better and better. I look around this room and I'm telling you, there's so many positive people in here who went through the same kind of situation. And as stroke survivors, no one gets it. And I know I said that before, but I was talking.
No, but it's true. No one does.
Yeah, I had an event yesterday and I was talking and it's so true, because how are they supposed to know? First of all, they don't. I mean, you know, and so I want to give them the, you know, the pat on the back.
I try to let people know.
Yeah.
But
it's
yeah,
important
some people they know, and then there's some people that don't.
It's important to stay with a group like this, bud. You want to stay in the group. Jim Patterson, go ahead.
That's what I'm trying. Like when in my part of North Carolina, it was in between like Virginia Beach and Gainsborough. It's one of them, but there's nobody medically in my area to come and help me. So I lived by myself until I was able to, my wife was able to get me to come over here to stay with her. So there was no, like, they would have to get a lawyer, not a lawyer. They will have to get the doctors from Virginia to telehealth because they won't drive to North Carolina. Yeah. And then North Carolina was saying they have stroke survivors meetings, but they don't Zoom.
Right.
The only problem is they're 4 hours away from where I was at.
Oh man, that's tough.
I was in like a catch-22.
Yeah. So let me move to Jim and let him ask or say what he's going to. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, Keith, there was something that Andrew said that really resonated with me when he was talking about the fatigue and the need to get rest and sleep. I can really relate to that. And one of the things I wanted to share with you, Andrew, was I learned early on from my physical therapist, when I'm sleeping, I'm healing. Don't ever feel bad about the fact that you need to give your body rest. You shouldn't have to apologize for it. You shouldn't feel bad about just curling up in a corner and closing your eyes and trying to get whatever measure of rest you can, because as you're sleeping, you're healing. Your brain is healing, and it's so important.
Great point. That was a good point, Jim. Thank you.
That is.
And he's right on the money, Andrew. So, and unfortunately, we're kind of getting up against time.
I speak long. I am sorry.
No, you're doing fine, buddy. You're doing fine. Diane?
I just wanted to say that there's a wonderful doctor that I follow on Instagram, and she's from North Carolina. Her name is Dr. Karen Sullivan. I don't know if you've heard of her, and she's a neuropsychologist, and she talks about every subject about stroke that you might even question, and she's wonderful, really.
Yeah.
Dr. Carol Sullivan?
Karen. I know
Karen.
exactly who you're talking about too, Diane. And
so, yeah.
Andrew,
yes.
Do you email my friend?
I do, but sometimes it'll take me a while to respond back.
That's fine. I'm going to send you what Diane is talking about, because I know exactly who she's talking about. So I'll send that to you as well. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Lonnie, did you have something?
I had a quick question. I think we all really deal with this stroke fatigue. And Keith, I wonder if we could get a couple of speakers that would maybe even give us tips on it. Because I know I deal with it. I think everybody who's had a stroke does. And so it's just exhausting.
Perfect. Thank
the
you.
stroke fatigue, and also how do we deal with the outside influences of the loud noises, the loud music, the bright lights? Is there any way that we can learn to overcome some of that trauma?
Okay.
What do I do with that is I carry the portable headphones. Like I have Beats headphones. And then what I will do, because it's already happened, and I've only been in Portland for a week. And we went out to a farmer's market and it was too loud with everything.
Mhm.
So I would put the headphones in and I would play. I listened to a small audiobook, but I turned the volume like slightly down to where I can still hear some people talk to me, but it drowns out the outside noise and it kind of gives me the focus that I need for my brain. Because apparently my brain needs a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
Like it does.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, thank you. And I'm going to keep us moving along, you guys, because I like to stay on time as much as possible. So, oh, Diane was on here too. That's good. Oh, there.
No, I didn't know how to work the chat. It finally went in. I tried to put it in when you said it, but I also can't see that well to see that tiny little writing.
Right. Oh, good to see you too, by the way, Diane.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
All of you.
So a couple more quick things, you guys. Does anybody we call it a stroke adversary. Is anybody having did they this month? Oh, Bev, go ahead. Oh, and Randy, Bev and Randy, take 2 seconds and tell us.
Who's going first?
You go ahead. Bev's trying to get her thing done.
Mine was from 2011, May 19th.
Okay. So
it's been 12 years.
Wow. Yeah, you look great, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. I still struggle all the time, but it does get better every single day, little bits. So
Love it. I love it. And it's your attitude too, buddy. I mean, Randy has a great attitude about it, and it makes a huge difference. Yeah.
You guys look great, honestly.
Mine was
All of you guys look great.
Oh, thank you. Bev, go ahead.
Mine was May 11th, 1999. So it's been 24 years.
Wow.
Amazing.
And incidentally, for those of you who don't know, May 6th was World Moya Moya Awareness Day. And Moya Moya is the disease I have, which is a rare artery of the brain disease. And that's why I had the strokes. I also have tremors and other things that related to the disease. But yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to make one more comment. There weren't any other stroke anniversaries, right? Let's talk about Bev and Randy for a second. Both of them, and actually almost everyone in this room, frankly, have had strokes, have gone through hell and back. I'm sorry, Bev. And Bev is a pastor, by the way. Everybody's gone through hell and back, and I'm telling you, they're doing fabulous. You guys are all doing great. I definitely look forward to talking with all of you. Please reach out to me if you need anything. Steve, you did a fantastic job, buddy. And I'm so excited about that program. We've got to continue to keep that ball moving forward. Ramona, I was going to let you know that next week we are talking with Dr. Kobe Haynes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not next week. Our next meeting is with Dr. Kobe Haynes with Brain Health from Prineville, and it was Ramona's idea to have him. So I got him on the schedule, and he's coming. And then after that, we've got Gail Flans, who Michelle still in? Yeah, there's Michelle. Introduced me to her. And so she's going to be coming on after that too. And Lonnie, I got your messages, and I will follow up, and we'll get some more things going. I appreciate every one of you guys. We appreciate every one of you. And please reach out if you need anything. And any last thoughts real quick? Good.
When is the next meeting?
It is in 2 weeks, Andrew.
2 weeks.
It's every second and fourth Tuesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so anyway, appreciate all you guys. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and we'll all talk soon.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
I gotta leave now.